Okay, shoot.
So it's like this. Fix the camera. All right, so. Then that's the low part. The high part is. So those go together, okay? So if you're playing this, you play. If you're playing this, you go. Everything is one string. The whole key with their harmony stuff is, I would say 95% of the time, it's one string off, same fingering.
So is this a fifth up?
Yeah, it's total jank master stuff.
It's funny because it sounds great. I always thought it was a
of
third
course
up.
It sounds great. It's the fucking Allman Brothers. They basically invented this.
Yeah.
But the way they did it is like some real garage band. See, the whole thing with the best rock bands that I've experienced firsthand is it's a combination of high and low brow. So the highbrow is like, yeah, man, we're going to figure out all this Coltrane shit and play it in a rock band. And then the lowbrow is, okay, now you go up one string. You know, it's not like, yeah, you know, you're on the fifth and I'm on the melody and then here we'll, you know, it's like, no, man, I'm up a string. And that's how they came up with it, man. It's just fucking janky. And I learned that working with Greg. You know, the first time I ever really discussed music with him was at a rehearsal at his house. We rehearsed for a week. And I had jammed with him with the Allman Brothers, but I had never played music with him otherwise. And the first day, very quickly, I started to realize that on the organ, he almost had no idea what he was playing. Like virtually no idea of what the chords were.
Right. Wow.
He just, this is what I play here. This is what goes here.
Right.
You know, and
how do you figure out how to play it? That's the amazing thing.
Well,
right?
he knew more about the guitar than he did about the organ. The organ, it was more, he knew, I mean, it wasn't always like that. There were just certain songs like Queen of Hearts. Like he didn't know that it was like C minor 7 to F9 to B flat major 7 to E flat major 7 to A minor 7 augmented to D7 sharp 9. Like if I talked that way to him, he'd be like, ah, but he would be like C, F, B flat. Like he knew what they were, but he didn't know the names or extensions or why they were. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
That's basically it.
Played notes that sounded good.
Yeah. And then on the guitar, he knew more. Like in the first position, he knew everything. He didn't really go up the neck very much, but in the first position, he knew the names of everything and he knew which one the seventh was. But on the keyboards, he kind of knew a little bit less.
Huh.
But the parts, I'm talking about the parts to the songs.
Right.
You know, there were parts he came up with where he would come up with a triad movement or something, and it would just be like the part on Whipping Post. You know, he would just move this triad around, and he didn't know what he was doing.
Huh.
Like he didn't bother to figure it out.
Right.
You know,
right.
like this is a sus4, this is a sharp 9, this is a, you know, it's just, yeah, man, this is how it goes. Check it out. You know, it's how it goes.
This is what it is.
But then, you know what? We'd turn around and we'd play Brightest Smile in Town, which has, you know, a fucking pile of changes. It's basically the most changes you can put in a song. Key modulations, augmented chords, passing tones, diminished, you know, the kitchen sink. And he would sit there and play the whole thing. And he had no idea what they were. Half of them.
Wow. I wonder how he learned that.
It's called high and low brow.
Yeah.
Basically, what you do is you just keep going until you've got it.
Right.
And you're so passionate about learning it that you don't even bother to figure out what it is. You just keep playing with the record until you find it.
That's insane.
I learned to play organ that way, okay? Because we had a B3. My dad bought a B3 for really cheap when I was in my teens. Put it in the basement for our band to rehearse with because my band we had the only B3 player in town, and it saved him having to bring his rig down, and then we had all these other organ players come there to record and stuff.
Wow.
And I taught myself to play the organ by just putting on records and just playing the same way Greg did, actually, just the right hand, finding all the different triads and the small chords and moving them around. And I before you knew it, I knew a few songs and I didn't know what I was playing at all.
That's crazy. That's
It's an
crazy.
intuitive instrument in the same way that the guitar is.
Well, I always felt the keyboards was, in a way, a much easier instrument to learn theory on because the scale's
100%.
laid out right in front of you.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's why it's the traditional. It's the instrument that Western harmony was really codified on. I don't want to say it was invented on it, but it was definitely organized on it.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. So what's same time next week for you?
Yeah, it should be all right next week.
Good. Let's try to get this Dickey solo in shape.
Yep.
If you
And
want
get
to hear
that
me
last-
yak any more than you already have, I'm going live on Jeff McErlane's YouTube page at 11 a.m. in about an hour.
Cool.
Check it out. That guy's a really good guitar instructor. He's like True Fire's #1 best-selling teacher.
Oh, wow.
And it's going to be fun. It'll be interesting.
Jeff What?
McErlane.
Did you post this on your
Yeah, it's on the social.